Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I just wanted to pop on today to show you guys my henna treatment. I don't do henna very often anymore at all. I'd say I probably do it once or twice a year at this point, very seldom. The main reason being it's a pain in the fucking ass. It takes a long time, it's messy. So I tend to just stick to your traditional protein conditioners for strengthening my hair, but every now and then I still do like to do a henna treatment so I can get the best of both worlds. I used to do it a lot more often. I used to do henna like weekly at one point, like basically when I first discovered it and I was getting the strengthening benefits, I kind of went a little ham and I was doing it very frequently. I never did find that it really like changed my hair color in any majorly noticeable way, but in the sun my hair would like have a very bright red hue to it, which I didn't mind. In any event, I fell off of it because of the reasons I just outlined for you guys, but I felt up to doing another henna treatment this weekend for my whole wash routine, and I decided to film as much of it as I could for you guys. Because, did I mention it's messy? Because it's fucking messy. But I was able to film a good amount of me actually mixing up my henna, and I filmed one and only one section of me applying it to my hair just so you could kind of see the consistency. Now my henna mix is never exactly the same every time because I might use different conditioners or whatever that I mix with the henna, but this is the basic process that I follow. My favorite henna to use is the Rajasthani henna. I get mine from Henna Souk. I haven't purchased in a long time because, again, I don't do henna very often. So the henna that I do have, I just store in my freezer and use it as I need it. As I am no spring chicken any longer, I do have a couple gray hairs that have started popping up over the past 3 or so years, much to my chagrin. I'd say I have maybe 4 or 5 now, and of course they're all right in the front. Just kind of sprinkled throughout saying, hey, I'm gonna plant my ass in your leave out. So that's really annoying, and while I haven't ever tried the henna indigo 2-step process because ain't nobody got time for that, I did come across a few ways to tweak henna recipes to make them more of a brownish tint rather than a fiery copper tint that they would be on gray hair without any changes to the henna blend at all. Now this is another brand of henna that I've used and like. This is Karishma Herbal Henna. This is actually a mix of henna with other stuff like shikakai and amla and some other things. And they've got a few different recipes on the back, and one of them is indicated for dark brown hair, meaning these are the results that you will get. You will get dark brown result rather than red. And they suggest putting the henna in an iron bowl and mixing it with hot, freshly boiled tea and coffee, keeping it overnight in the vessel and then using it the next day. I also came across a YouTuber named Super Princess Joe who does a lot of DIY Ayurvedic skincare videos as well as hair videos, and she had a very similar recipe slash recommendation for how to mix up the henna, where she put hers in a cast iron bowl, mixed it with coffee and tea and blah blah blah. Here's what I did. I took 100 grams of the Rajasthani henna and I mixed it with some black tea that I had boiled down. I had put the tea bags in the water and let it reduce until it was half as much so that it was basically a very concentrated black tea. I started off by adding 1 cup of that tea to the henna and then just adding more until I got the consistency that I desired. That's a cast iron Dutch oven that I purchased from Amazon specifically for my henna. I don't use it to cook any food in. I just use it to mix up my henna, and that's all it's for. It was very inexpensive. It was around $15. I let that sit overnight. The next morning when I was ready to use it, I added about 6 ounces of conditioner. One of my favorite conditioners to mix in with my henna is this cholesterol that you see right here, the Shea mango one. I had heard that this cholesterol had been discontinued, but it went away from store shelves and then came back. So I don't know what that was all about, but I am able to find it now without a problem. So I used 3 ounces of that along with 3 ounces of this Cresepello conditioner, which I think is a Dominican conditioner. I've had this tub for quite a while. I really like using it whenever I want something inexpensive, like something for a henna mix. To further intensify the likelihood that I would get a more brown tint than a red tint, I decided to add some amla as well to this mix, and I did do that the next day. I didn't really want to futz with the henna releasing its dyes while it was sitting overnight, so I added the amla the next day. So I did about a 3-to-1 ratio of the henna to the amla. So I used about 33 grams of amla for the 100 grams that I had already mixed of the henna. I always sift any powders that I'm using in my hair blends because I want to decrease the likelihood of any clumping of powders, and it just makes it easier to mix everything once I start adding liquids. Last but not least, I added a few oils, probably about 3 tablespoons in all, and I just kind of grabbed a few that I was feeling that day. I mix all that up and then applied it to my freshly washed hair. I have heard of people applying henna to their hair while it's dirty and then washing it after, or even just applying regular deep conditioners to their hair and washing it after. I don't do that. I'm not a fan. It doesn't work for me. So I always like to put my conditioners and my henna treatments on freshly washed hair. Here you can see me applying it to one and only one section because I was not about to fuck my camera up for the sake of a henna video. You do want to make sure that you cover your bathroom or wherever you're applying it in newspaper or plastic. In my case, I like to just cut open garbage bags so that they're one giant rectangle, and it's a lot faster and easier for me to just kind of lay those down and make sure everything's covered that needs to be covered. And then I just apply it to my hair using rubber gloves, of course, and I just apply it the way I would apply anything. I just want to make sure that it's really saturated. I used nearly all of the batch that I had mixed up, but the leftovers that I had, it was probably maybe half to 3/4 of a cup left out of all of that, and I just put it in a container and stuck it in my freezer so that I can just use it some other time. Then I covered my hair with a couple plastic bags and let it sit for about 5 or 6 hours. You generally want to let your henna sit from 4 to 6 hours. Some people even let it sit overnight. Sounds like a great way to fuck up your sheets in my opinion, so I usually just do it during the day for upwards of 6 hours. During that time frame, I did sit under my dryer for about 25-30 minutes. I do like to make sure I apply some heat somewhere in there, and because I didn't want to get stains on my hot head cap, I just went ahead and sat under my normal hooded dryer. And after those 5 to 6 hours were up, I rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. That's the way it goes with henna. It does take a long time to rinse out, particularly if you apply it as heavy as I like to, because I really want to make sure every strand is coated. After I had rinsed each section, I did do a quick co-wash with an actual like cleansing conditioner type of product, just because my hair did feel a little bit dried out. Even with the precautions of adding conditioners and oils to my mix, my hair does tend to feel a little bit dry after rinsing out henna. So I went ahead and applied some nice moisturizing cleansing conditioner to help get any residual bits of herbs that might have still been stuck in my hair out, as well as re-soften my hair. And here I am just twisting my hair up after for the week, you know, just putting in some leave-in moisturizer, sealing and twisting and setting my ends on rods, because by the way, that really has been helping reduce my single strand knots, but I will talk about that more in another video. But yeah, satin rollers on the ends, and then that was pretty much it. So that is my henna mix. That's how I like to do it. Once again, I don't do it terribly often because it's a pain in the A, but I'm a big believer in using Ayurvedic products for my hair care. I've done it pretty much as long as I've been on this mission to grow my hair as long as I possibly can. So I like to incorporate these types of things whenever possible. I just find it a lot easier to use things like Vatika oil or other infusions where I can just chuck it in my hair and be done with it and not have to worry about staining my bathroom and like laying down plastic and all that kind of junk. So I hope this was helpful for those of you who are asking me to please do a video on my henna. That's pretty much it. As I said, I only do it a couple times a year, not super often at all. If you use henna, let me know what your mix is like in the comments. I always love seeing what other people like to do. And if you've never tried henna, let me know if you think you might want to try it after watching this video, because happy I could help. I will also leave a link to the Rajasthani henna, which is my favorite, in the description box in case you guys want to check it out. But that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.